in one of the seminars where I was also attending, I heard that her father actually launched Hema Malini ji in the movie industry. We have performances, we have talks, we have workshops, giving us an insight into how they have contributed considerably to the history of dance.
Welcome to This Week at the NCPA. Dr. Swapnokalpa Dasgupta is head dance department at the NCPA. Somebody who's featured often on the show, and I'm not complaining, always so eloquent about her passion point, which is dance. Hi, great to see you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Hrishi. It's always an honor and pleasure to be back. We are all fans of your voice and your content. So looking forward to the session.
So kind of you. The August Dance Residency 2025 has two aspects to it. One, of course, is a dance performance itself. Other than that, there are 2 workshops and 1 screening. All of this amounts to the August Dance Residency, and this time we are honored and privileged to have Padma Vibhushan Dr. Padma Subrahmanyam ji giving a solo Bharatnrityam recital along with the live musicians. And this, I believe, is her interpretation of the Bhagavad Gita. And followed by a wonderful film on her life and times and a talk on her after the film is screened, and of course 2 workshop sessions. For those of us living under a rock, I'd like you to talk right at the beginning about this stalwart and her dance school.
Hrishi, I'll actually start with what August Dance Residency is. So the NCPA August Dance Residency is a very unique platform, which is in its 13th year. So we are teenagers now. And without any tantrums. So this is a beautiful platform where we invite institutions, not individuals actually, institutions to present what has been their journey. Now I'll talk to you why Padmaji, but just to give an overview, this started many years back. We have had institutions like the Kalakshetra, Nrityagram, the Kerala Kala Mandalam, Manipuri Nartanalaya, and these, as you know, are from different parts of India. And every time when they come, they have over a few days, we have performances, we have talks, we have workshops, giving us an insight into how they have contributed considerably to the history of dance in India. As you know, that during the freedom movement, the fervor for national classical, having classical dances started. And that is the time we looked back. We started valuing museums. Otherwise, these were all monuments which we were not taking care of, isn't it? So that entire idea of valuing heritage started. And that's how Indian classical dances slowly came to be. And Padmaji has taken the classical dance Bharatanatyam one step forward through her research. So what she has researched, very fascinating, is that she has researched on the Karanas of Natya Shastra. Now, Natya Shastra is a text on performing arts, which is dated to probably 200 AD. And which has been passed down generation after generation by the gurus to their students. And this is a text where we find things like how to set up a stage, what are the different emotions that a abhinay or a artist should be using to, the Ashtanaikas or there is not a single thing you can say which is not there in the Natya Shastra pertaining to performing arts. What Padmaji has done is that she specifically has contributed towards making the karanas, which are postures that are there on the walls of temples. These postures were basically just figurines that were there on the temple walls, which she, through her research, understood that these are not just figurines, these are actually movements. So how to connect one hand to the other? So if you have 2 hands here and 2 hands down, she connected that it's actually this with 1 hand down. So it's a process, a movement. And that has been created, and she made that knowledge accessible to dancers, most importantly. And after that, many dancers, generation after generation, has started researching on the Natya Shastra, especially the Karanas. She not only choreographs her own dance, she also composes her own music. She's from that generation of artists who did everything from scratch. She creates her own music. She then, when we were young, we would know that while she creates her dance, she parallelly creates her music. So both these things parallelly happen. Nowadays what we do is we prepare the music, then we prepare the dance, then we probably tweak the music a bit, and then that's we set. And most of us dancers might contribute to the music, but we do not create or compose our own music for dance. But she is the person who composes. So the songs are composed by her, and then she sets movement on them, and the dance is formed. So why Padmaji? Padmaji is an institution by herself. Because of her research that she did in the Natyashastrik Karanas, lot of PhD theses have come up, and the academics of dance has been enriched by her research, which single-handedly brought those theoretical aspects and connected it to practical applications. So, yeah.
Just a little bit about Nrityodaya, which is her school in Chennai. I believe she's president of the school, but it was actually formed in 1942 by her late father.
Yes. Very interesting. She comes from a very culturally rich family. And in one of the seminars where I was also attending, I heard that her father actually launched Hema Malini in the movie industry. So you can imagine the kind of setup that probably happened in her drawing room. So it's music, it's dance, it's theater, and that's how she has grown up. And today we have a gem like her, who can think or create art from multiple perspectives.
The life and works of Dr. Padma Subrahmanyam, followed by a talk by Dr. Jayshree Rajagopalan. Now, this is happening at 4 p.m. on Friday, the 22nd of August. It's a screening followed by Jayshree Ji's talk. Can you tell us about Dr. Jayshree Rajagopalan and how important her talk is about the life and works of Dr. Padma Subrahmanyam?
So Jayshree Ji is a very senior dancer who's residing now in Bombay. And what is amazing about Jayshree Ji is that she has spent nearly 55 years under the guidance of Padmaji, has known her through and through, both as an artist and as a guru, guide, and individual. So it is very important for us to look at stalwarts like Padmaji through the perspective of somebody who has been through the journey with her. Because then you do not just look at the artist as the entire idea is to introduce our cultural heritage, which is the person herself, to today's generation, and that through the perspective of somebody who has been silently with her throughout her journey is the best. And then that is the reason why we thought that a talk would be very good for today's generation of young dancers to even understand her before they actually get to meet her, which is the following 2 days of the masterclass that is going to be at the NCPA.
That's right. So Saturday the 23rd and Sunday the 24th are workshops from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. and the venue is the West Room 1. Nowhere have I given out any ticketing information because that's the nature of the beast. When you have a Padma Vibhushan and somebody like Dr. Padma Subrahmanyam ji, it is sold out. So as of now, we can't help you on that front. But, definitely so that people understand, lovers of culture understand the importance of what is happening. We are talking about these things. So Saturday, 23rd and 24th, 3 full hours, a workshop on both days, and of course this particular screening of the film. Which brings me to a very, very important aspect of the Gita. Now, the Bharatnrityam by Dr. Padma Subrahmanyam itself is such a treat. She has apparently, and you can elaborate on this, Swapnokalpa, taken 78 original Sanskrit shlokas from the Gita's 700 verses, and she is going to be performing it with translations serving as performance commentary.
So I'll first like to point out that when she researched on the Karanas, Dr. Subrahmanyam actually named her form of dance Bharatnrityam. Not Bharatnatyam. So because she added a little bit a very different perspective and angles and movements which were at that time beyond or the exact domain of Bharatnatyam. So she made what we call today as Bharatnatyam. And coming back to the evening of dance, when we requested her for a performance, she specifically said that, right now it's a very proud time when Natya Shastra and Bhagavad Gita has been acknowledged by the United Nations as our cultural heritage, right? It's part of the list of some of the texts from across the world, over 70 in number. And it's a very, and she is the right blend of the Natya Shastra and the Bhagavad Gita. So she specifically said that this year, at least, we should definitely celebrate the fact that, something which we knew and now the world knows, the Bhagavad Gita. And it must have been a very difficult journey for her to select some of the verses from the text, but because our performance formats these days enable us to only have a 90 minutes evening maximum, so that is why she has been very kind to edit it to today's or edit it for us, today's audience, so that we can get the crux of the Bhagavad Gita. It would be wonderful for anybody who's there in the auditorium. Again, the show is also sold out, so my regards to everybody who's not able to attend or did not take the ticket earlier. But she has a live orchestra, which is also her daughter-in-law and her Mahati, who's her. Yes, her granddaughter, and she's also a very beautiful performer. So she has the entire lineage there also in her orchestra, which is going to be, you will see multi generation performing on the same stage, taking the cultural heritage of our country forward.
So, using the power of classical dance to convey timeless truths and inspire deeper engagement with the Bhagavad Gita, and I stand corrected, it is not a Bharatnatyam performance, it's a Bharatnrityam recital with live musicians and experimental theatre. It is 6:30 p.m. Friday the 22nd. It's supported in memory of Suvarna Javeri Desai, so we'd like to acknowledge that. Also, the workshops as well as the feature presentation and the talk, that is supported by HSBC. So thanks to HSBC also for supporting the August Dance Residency. Thank you very much for your time, Swapnokalpa, and please enjoy Dr. Subrahmanyam's excellent performance.
Absolutely, we will, and we look forward to having you all also there with us. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe a treasure trove was revealed to you by the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. And these are a bunch of letters.
Vision for the NCPA, it would be, preservation, promotion, and propagation. So he would preserve 6,000 hours of archival recording we've got with the great Subba Lakshmi, Amjad Ali, name it, Allah Rakha, Hari Prasad Chaurasya, just all the greats of the time.
All right, welcome to This Week at the NCPA. I'm very pleased to welcome Nandita Anjaria. She's Senior Advisor Honorary at the NCPA. Hi, Nandita. Wonderful to talk to you. How are you today?
Very good, Hrishi. Thank you for having me here.
Nandita, you're such an inseparable part of the National Centre of Performing Arts. You're also a member of the organization's Western Classical Music and Theatre Committees. You've been instrumental in organizing the Ad Art Festival, which is a multi-genre celebration of NCPA's completion of 50 years. But really, what is the legacy of this incredible complex and the Renaissance man who actually founded it, Dr. Jamshed Bhabha, mean to you as we approach his 111th birth anniversary?
We're having the Jamshed Bhabha Memorial Lecture, and it started with his vision of having a cultural center 55 years ago in India. Nothing like this existed then. But I've actually got to start back from his childhood. His famous nuclear physicist brother, Dr. Homi Bhabha, and Dr. Jamshed Bhabha were sent on cultural tours to Europe to visit museums, art galleries, exhibitions, opera. And that was the intrinsic upbringing they had, which sort of framed their later life. Now, Dr. Jamshed Bhabha was a corporate man with the Tatas, but his passion was always culture. He always believed in the intrinsic value of the soft power of culture, and it was his life. They had a huge record collection with a record player, music playing all the time. And he really believed that culture was not for entertainment or something you do with your free time. It was an intrinsic part of your life, to quote him. So I think with this background, he just felt that post independence India didn't have anything worthy of the artistic heritage which India had. The great musicians, singers didn't have great theaters, green rooms, front of the house, everything. He just believed India needed a cultural center to sort of showcase its heritage. It didn't have recording studios. So, in fact, the first little theater was a recording studio where we really had perfect sounding recordings. So, looking at all of this, it was his passion which sort of created this passion and vision, I should say, which created the NCPA. And he was totally supported by his dear friend, JRD Tata, who funded the whole project. So I think, it was just in their blood, the two brothers. They grew up with this.
I'm going to come to a very important point you're making. You said that even though the National Center of the Performing Arts came into being in 1969, the idea had been born much earlier. And really, what were India's great performing arts and the masters of performing arts doing? They were dependent on the patronage of royalty and aristocracy. And that also was dying out in the wake of modernization. So I believe Dr. Bhabha spoke at many forums, wrote lots of proposals before he was granted permission by the government to reclaim the land from the sea at the southern tip of Marine Drive, where the NCPA currently is at. So talk about that, please.
In fact, that's why he insisted the NCPA should be in Bombay, because not only was it the commercial capital, it also became the cultural capital of Bombay. Because we had the film industry, so Birju Maharaj came to Bombay. The musicians were performing in Baithaks and, stadiums, auditoriums, which were not up to the standard. In fact, Sonal Mansingh is quoted saying that he was a perfectionist. His green rooms, even there was a damp towel or anything for the artist in the green room, he would, not accept it. He was a perfectionist. Everything was absolutely great to support the artists, and he believed that this heritage should be propagated and continued, because there was the Guru Shishya Parampara. There's nothing recorded. So he compiled all this into creating the NCPA. And if I had to talk about his vision for the NCPA, it would be, preservation, promotion, and propagation. So he would preserve 6,000 hours of archival recording we've got with the great Subba Lakshmi, Amjad Ali, name it, Ala Rakha, Hari Prasad Chaurasya, just all the greats of the time. And we continue this tradition even today. We have archival recordings regularly, which are stored in air-conditioned, dehumidified conditions, which are perfectly able to use and listen to. And we promote the arts by our performances. We have 5 theatres, as everybody knows. And we present performances. We have a curation committee, which we curate our own programs. They're not outsourced or just brought in. So we have genre heads who curate specifically what is going on our stages. And the original board had very eminent members, national and international. He was very broad-minded. He didn't limit himself. So we had Ravi Shankar, Satyajit Ray, M.S. Subbulakshmi, Yavati Menuhin, to name a few, and P.L. Deshpande, who shaped up the theatre division. And they were all on the initial council. And he insisted with the government, let me finish about the propagation, which we do today with our Guru Shishya Parampara still in Indian music. And at that time, we had artist residencies also. And we still have them today, but that time they would last for a month when people had a bit of time. And the next generation of Odyssey dancers has been shaped by these artist residencies. So Kelucharan Mohapatra did a lot of them. So, this was his vision for the country, not only the NCPA.
I want to come back to a very important point that you made about this abiding friendship between JRD Tata, his senior colleague at Bombay House, who was chairman of the Tata Group at the time. There's this wonderful quotation in the Onstage magazine.
Yes.
Which I'd like to quote from. It says, JRD said, one day perhaps the NCPA's work may be more important for the country than the work of the steel company. He had said of Dr. Bhabha's labor of love. And I think that's really wonderful. Let's now move towards, you've already talked about the board of advisors, these luminaries who are part of it. I think what he also did, what Dr. Bhabha did excellently, was inviting the right people to helm the NCPA over the decades. Currently we have
Mr. Kushru Santokia,
who's so passionate about Western classical. But even before him, I'd like you to talk about some of the people who've helmed the NCPA.
Yeah, P.L. Deshpande, Vijaya Mehta were intrinsic in shaping the theatre division and, of course, the NCPA. Narayan Menon, of course, helping. All of these people just followed Dr. Bhabha's vision on making it what it is today. And when you're talking about the friendship of J.R.D. Tata with Dr. Bhabha, it was a very nice statement in one of his letters, which we put up in the memorial exhibition, which we have to Dr. Bhabha. He calls him one of his dearest friends and confidant. He had his full faith in him and full trust in, growing the culture of the NCPA. Also, as you mentioned earlier, we were given the sea, literally, to reclaim. And the minister never thought Dr. Bhabha would take it. But there was no other place. He wanted to give us Aurangabad, which just wasn't working for Dr. Bhabha. So he said, yes, I'll take it. And through J.R.D. Tata, reclaiming this land makes it the NCPA with the 5 theatres today. So
lovely. Okay, I'm going to come to the memorial lecture. Every year on Dr. Bhabha's birth anniversary, 21st of August, an eminent speaker from diverse disciplines is invited to speak on art and culture and allied fields. The inaugural one, I'm just going to leave the name and then I'll leave you to take over, was delivered by Mr. Jauhar Sarkar on what ails the arts in India. And subsequently, you've had some wonderful speakers. Please tell us about them.
Yes, we've had Dr. Farooq Udvadia, who spoke, Rohington Nariman, who gave an amazing comparison between the Mahabharata and Wagner's Ring Cycle, which was very esoteric, but very, very brilliant. And this time we have Darius Khambata is speaking on war and peace, what ails the 20th century. And it should be very fascinating and interesting. It's free, it's open to the public, as is our exhibition of his artifacts at the Dilip Piramal Gallery. Everybody's welcome to come and attend. Of course, you have to register. But I have to still mention a little story about the Tata Theatre, which is absolutely unknown to people. When Dr. Bhabha had this vision of starting the Tata Theatre, he traveled all over the world to check out acousticians, architects, and he was in New York, in America, and Philip Johnson was the legendary modernist architect who would never compromise on his design for acoustics, come what may. Cyril Harris was the professor of acoustics in Columbia University, who would never compromise on acoustics for the design element. These two greats had never worked together. So Dr. Bhabha managed to get them to create the Tata Theatre. And this was reported in the New Yorker because they never ever had worked together in America. So this created the iconic foyer of the Tata Theatre, as well as the seating, where you could hear a pin drop on the last seat of the theatre inside. It was a really iconic story. And there was nothing like this in India at that time, with the revolving stage and the performances. So this is a story worth telling, because nobody else besides Dr. Bhabha could manage to get them, to work together. And also one more thing, when Tata Theatre started, there was no amplification allowed. The artists would not sing without mics. They were so used to singing with mics, but Dr. Bhabha absolutely forbade it. And you had pure sound unenhanced, which was beautiful for the audiences. So these are stories which are lesser known than...
Will you just give us the theme for Darius Khambata's lecture this year and what he's going to be talking about? And after you give us the theme, I'd like you to tell us the kind of artifacts people can expect when they come to the Piramal on the 111th birth anniversary.
Yeah. Darius Khambata is speaking on war and peace, the conflicts of the 20th century. But it is also related to the arts. It's not only war and peace. So it will be intrinsically connected to what we do. And he's an eminent solicitor, everybody knows. But he'll be speaking on the 21st at 6:30 at the Tata Theatre. And we have wonderful pieces at the exhibition. We have a century-old Tara Devi, a bronze sculpture, the goddess of wisdom. One of the best bronzes, I'm told, in the collection is an intricately carved statue of Lord Shiva. It's 18th century, maybe 18th or 19th century. And it's this thing founded in the image of the Vijayanagar Nayak period. Then we have a few yalis, which have the head and body of a lion, trunk and an elephant tusk. It's a South Indian mythological creature. An ornate metal and glass clock, which is so beautiful, very, very unusual. Some wooden contemporary pieces, a black marble statue of Lord Vishnu, late 11th century, a Buddha head from the 4th century. So these are priceless artifacts, to name a few. They're really very, very valuable and never been seen before by anybody. The first time by exhibiting it to the public. And a favorite of mine would be a beautiful marble hand by a celebrated sculptor Francesco Gerace. It has unfinished detailing on the edges to contrast with the smoothness of the marble and the well-defined fingers. It's really a striking, outstanding piece. So this is something, which should not be missed. And it's on for 3 weeks, so people can come anytime.
So there you have it, 3 weeks of artifacts from Dr. Jamshed Bhabha's life and times at the Dilip Piramal Art Gallery. And of course, the all-important lecture on the 21st of August to celebrate 111th birth anniversary. Just before you go, Nandita, I believe a treasure trove was revealed to you by the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. And these are a bunch of letters, so please tell us about them.
Yeah. Yesterday we just got these letters from the TIFR, what Dr. Jamshed Bhabha wrote to Homi Bhabha just to prove the Renaissance men they were. He writes about a Buddha bust that belongs to the Gandharva period and sketches it from memory. The modeling of the face is poor, but the body is massively sculpted. And what makes the whole particularly striking is the stone halo around the head, the halo with suitably devised lighting behind it on the face would make it more striking. He writes from a trip to Hungary, I did not get any new aesthetic experience. One can get tired temporarily of seeing only Rembrandts and Rubenses and the usual well-known masters. I can now express more clearly to you the reason why I'm always emphasizing the importance of originality to you in connection with your painting. In every genuine art lover who has had this aesthetic sensitiveness fully and thoroughly extended in all the directions of existing art, there arises a craving for a new aesthetic experience, a positive, clearly felt craving. And this is what they wrote about to each other, not the wind and the weather. And for dance, he wrote, dancing should not be abstract as you imagine. It is to be of a higher order. Its movements should express emotions of moods. If you had seen first-rate Indian dancing, you would realize the truth of this. There, every movement is an expression of some idea or emotion and sweeps through the whole body. The expression of the eyebrows and fingers is as important as the movement of the body. So this is how they wrote to each other, which is absolutely fascinating. There's so much more. So do visit the exhibition. You'll really get to see a treasure trove.
Nandita Anjaria, Senior Advisor Honorary at the NCPA, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for giving us all this detailing about the activities of Jamshed Bhabha's 111th birth anniversary. And see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
94.3 Radio 1.